Simon's here from KPMG. It's the Pulse, isn't it? This is number 2, I believe. This is about the Isle of Man, where we're going. You've been commissioned by the government to look into the great crystal ball of events. Good luck on that one.
Thank you.
That was mad at the minute. But on a serious note, it's looking better than the first one, I think, which is interesting. Obviously, what you find?
Yeah, absolutely. So this survey is very much done. It's KPMG and the Institute of Directors have done this in partnership. So not part of my government work, but I'll touch on that in a moment. But yeah, this is our second survey. So this really comes from data just before the summer break. So it's around May time. But yes, it is looking positive. Nearly all businesses are indicating that they expect turnover to go up and everything to improve. Probably with the exception of hospitality and retail that are still quite clearly distressed.
And are we talking from the last one to this one before COVID, with COVID? I mean,
that was during.
So things could be much worse anyway in that one, I suppose.
They could be, yeah. I mean, I'd be very disappointed if it hadn't shown some optimism. But actually, the extent of optimism is quite positive, actually.
What is it designed to find on this thing? I mean, is it the way forward, or is it just taking the temperature and the pulse?
Well, as it says in the name, it is take the pulse, but very much it's trying to look forward. So it's trying to, I think what we realised, in particular when we were working with the Institute of Directors, there was just not enough data or information known about our economy. We're not a very big economy, so there's no excuses for not knowing about us. But we wanted to just explore that more. And so we give all of our data. It's all available to any business for free. We don't hide anything. We just provide some additional analysis.
How do you get that data, though?
Yeah, so we push that out through various different links, and government have been helpful there. Institute Directors memberships have been helpful. So we try to reach every company on the Isle of Man. We're slowly getting bigger and bigger. It was always going to take a few quarters to start to pick up a really decent sort of following base, but we're getting there now. So if you didn't get a chance to go into this one, please do contact us for the next one, which will be announced in the next few weeks.
And do you suggest things from that results you see the way forward to them?
Yeah, so KPMG have interpreted certain results. Using we've obviously got data scientists on staff and been able to do that. So. And basically with our knowledge of the economy, yes, we're able to interpret certain things. But it's been very useful for us, as you mentioned earlier. You know, we are advising the Isle of Man government at the moment.
Well, this is the big picture thing.
Yeah,
tell us about that.
Was the economic strategy. So we're looking at the economic strategy for the next 5 to 10 years for the Isle of Man. We've probably spoken to must be nearly 100 business leaders now around the island, trying to gauge what could help them grow, where do they see that they want to grow, but actually not just focusing on the future, actually looking at, okay, where are we today? What's our strengths? What's our weaknesses? What do we want to be? And actually, that's one of the deeper questions.
And where's our competition? I mean, you're in charge of the Crown Dependencies at KPMG.
Indeed, yeah.
So you're Guernsey, Jersey, and without even looking any further afield. Yeah,
it's a little of an odd one because I'm responsible for the markets in Guernsey and Jersey as well. But no, very much with my Isle of Man PLC hat on and the home of my children. So and it is interesting, and it's looking at other peer islands and looking at what they're doing. What are they doing better than we are? And how can we improve ourselves? But is
it always the next big thing sort of thing?
There is a little bit of that, definitely. It's looking at, the Manx economy is incredibly diverse. It's a lot more diverse than most of our peer jurisdictions. So we are always able to move quite quickly, although sometimes many businesses don't feel that way, but actually we do move quite quickly. Yeah, look at e-gaming 10 years ago and look at the success that is now. So yeah, what is not quite what is the next e-gaming, but effectively it's looking at understanding our economy, truly understanding it, and we've got economists from all over the world working with us on this, just helping the Isle of Man government to understand their numbers, understand all the different trends.
Because it does seem we've got a bit risk averse. I think maybe the film industry, those sort of things that didn't quite happen as we anticipated. Sure. Has that made it harder to sell it to government, which then has to put things in process? Or are they still out there looking happy? And
absolutely. To be fair, I mean, it was the Isle of Man government that commissioned this report. Yeah. So it's the Economic Recovery Group saw that, okay, well, we need some help on direction and where we're going. And that's what KPMG have been engaged to do.
So can you tell us what the next big thing is? If only we all knew.
It's currently in about 200 pages of report, Paul. Right. But when we reach a point that we can start talking about it more openly, then we will. They're coming up in the next few months. Actually, we will be getting all those business leaders back in again to say, actually, okay, here are some of the things that we think could be interesting, just to test it. So watch this space. It's going to be this side of Christmas.
And back to the Pulse, you were saying you're trying to expand your list of people you deal with. If people are business, do you want to hear from them? How should they contact you?
Absolutely. There's the normal KPMG email address, info@kpmg.co.im, or there's lots of other ways. If you're a member of the Institute of Directors, please contact them through government, through other ways.
And to finish with, how should we be feeling as a nation then? Because it's all about happiness in that sense.
Absolutely.
Obviously house prices are one thing that shows there's good strength there, although to other people that's a disadvantage. But how can you gauge the nation?
I think the economy is feeling a bit more buoyant. As I say, retail and hospitality is still having a tough time, and now on top of that, there's staff shortages, material shortages. If you were planning on doing an extension, the cost of that's probably gone up because raw materials are up. But overall, I think it was 89% of companies said they expect things to improve in the next 12 months. So the vast majority of people will continue to be employed and enjoy nice lives on the Isle of Man.
So we'll be talking to you every year from now, will we? For the next few, how long is this going on for?
The Pulse.
There's two different things here.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Pulse, we're doing it about 3 or 4 times a year.
Oh, right, that much. Okay.
So we've stayed relatively quiet on the first one because there was nothing to compare it to.
But now we'll start
to get some really interesting data coming through. ESG, for example, is a key focus for lots, but actually it's been very clear people on the island are struggling. They don't have the knowledge, they don't have the data to be able to drive some of their transition, I suppose, to a carbon neutral world. But actually not just carbon neutral, it's all the social aspects and everything else of ESG. So that was quite interesting, and actually not as many big companies have progressed in that area as well from what we expected and what we see globally as part of KPMG. So there's definitely some help there, but certainly KPMG and the Institute Directors have got some plans to try and help out.